This is Anything But the Politics Free Podcast. Come and join us for a short time to get away from the madness of the world, and we'll just pretend like nothing's happening important all around us. We're going to have some conversation, we're going to have some silliness, we're going to play a game, and we're going to swear a lot, or a little, but certainly there'll be some language. We just want to put you in a better mood by the end of the episode than you're in right now. I'm Heather.
And I'm Ryan.
Welcome to our bubble. All right, it's the day that falls between my birthday and Ryan's birthday because our birthdays are 2 days apart.
That's right, we are twins. Our mother was in labor for 2 whole days. That's a lie.
No, it isn't. Let's move on. Anyway, it would be cool if we were twins. I often wished that we were, but alas, we are not. We were born 3 years and 2 days apart.
Almost like Mom and Dad timed it.
Yes, almost. Your due date was my birthday. You should have been born on my birthday. That would have been way cooler.
It would have been hilarious. Oh my god, if I was born on your birthday, could you imagine what our childhood would be like?
Oh, it would have been horrible. You're right. As a young kid, I would have hated it so much. It only seems cool now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you would have hated my guts. It would have been freaking awesome.
Well, anyways, did you want to ask me your burning question?
I do want to ask you a burning question. If you had to eat one culture's food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
American fast food Chinese.
Not including American. Nope, American doesn't count.
I don't think I know enough about other cultures' foods to pick one. British food.
Seriously?
It's pretty much the same as American food.
Okay, then British food doesn't count.
And they have curry.
But that's Indian.
I don't know. The only...
Okay, look. American... I don't know enough about British cuisine to be able to say this, so I'm just going to talk out of my ass here.
I don't think you can use the word cuisine and British in the same sentence like that. I'm pretty sure I know that much about British stuff they eat. Okay, it was a bad joke. Go on.
Hey, you know what? You know what we can thank them for, Heather? Marmite.
Yes.
And 50% of them hate us now.
What were we talking about?
If you had to choose one culture's food to eat for the rest of your life, what would it be?
That is a good question. It is one I have not...
Can't be American, British, or Australian, or South African.
What can it be? Let me think about this, because my experience with food from other cultures is the Americanized version of that food.
True.
Based on the Americanized version of that food, I would go Chinese.
Same.
Is that anything like actual Chinese food? I don't know. But that's what I pick. That's my answer. Chinese. What about you? Oh, you said same. Yeah.
It's probably not anything like real Chinese food.
Now that we've had that wonderful discussion, let's do this. Conversation starters. Would you like to ask me the question?
I would love to ask you the question. What would the world be like if everyone was you?
Okay, for those of you who can't see Ryan's lips, he just mouthed, "It would be awful" to me.
Happy birthday.
Well, first of all, let's talk about something. Regardless of how much I swear, and I swear a lot, which can be misleading as to my character, I think. Because if you take that away, in every other regard, I'm super huge prude. So here's what the world would be like. Nobody would ever drink, except for once a year at Christmas time. Nobody would ever do drugs. Nobody would ever commit felonies. There'd be a lot of reckless driving.
Wait, do you drive recklessly, Heather?
When I'm by myself in the car, yeah.
But, okay, have you been in any accidents recently? Within, like, the last 10 years? That were your fault?
No.
So if everybody drove like you, then apparently there'd be no accidents.
There'd be a lot of people driving over curbs. There would be a lot of people slightly nicking other cars and buildings and things.
Oh my god.
There'd be a lot of dented up cars. At the very least.
Okay.
Let's see. There would be no violence. People would be listening to tons of audiobooks. There'd just be everyone with an audiobook going at all times. There'd be no smoking. There'd be no vaping. I'm awesome. All the problems of the world would be solved.
You sound awesome, but it sounds like everybody would have shitty cars. I was going to say, there's no... As far as the genetics go, it just has to do with people being like you. So if like everyone had your exact personality and mannerisms and stuff...
That'd be boring, wouldn't it?
It would be.
If every person was just... That would be so boring.
See how I guided you into that? Because that was my immediate thought about that. If everyone was like me, I was be like, wow, this is boring. That
is true. I guess I wasn't thinking in terms of personality. I was thinking in terms of behavior.
Sure.
But you were thinking in terms of personality, and that's true. It would be awfully boring if everyone was exactly the same. That would be no fun at all. And
I'd have no friends.
Yeah, I guess it would be super boring. I'm glad everybody has their own personality and is an individual. I appreciate that about life, even if and when I clash with another personality. I would still rather have an occasional personality clash with someone than to never have anyone be different from each other. That would be massively boring.
Hell yeah.
Right on. Are you ready to move on to podcast gamers?
Let's do it.
The game we're going to play today is called Stuff Happens. Here's what we do. We are going to rank bad situations on the Misery Index scale.
Ooh, is this based on the show, The Misery Index?
I don't know. I haven't heard of that show.
It's a fairly decent show. I don't go out of my way to watch it, but...
I'll check it out. All right. Well, the Misery Index runs from 0 to 100, or 10 to 100 in this diagram, with 10 being something like getting a parking ticket, and 100 being something like surgeon amputating the wrong leg. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick 3 cards, we'll put them in order, and then we'll pick a 4th card, and we will try to guess where that 4th card goes on that Misery Index scale.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Your house burns down.
That sounds pretty shitty.
That is an 84 on the Misery Index scale.
I was going to say, that's pretty up there.
Yes, your favorite neighbor dies. That is
a
34.5 on that one. In this picture, the neighbor is being struck by a meteor.
Damn.
Or a flaming soccer ball, I can't really tell. Stranded during a flood.
That's pretty low.
68.1, they've got it up there higher than your neighbor dying.
I would probably care less about being stranded in a flood than my neighbor dying.
Really? You wouldn't care if you were stranded in a flood?
I'd be on my roof. I'm good.
How are you going to get food? How are you going to get down? How are you going to sleep?
People are going to come rescue me.
What world are you living in where you're stranded in a flood? And they're like, drop everything, Ryan's on a roof. He's stranded in a flood, we're going to go get him.
Listen, I live in the middle of a fairly big city. I guarantee there is someone coming to my aid momentarily.
In a big city, there's going to be tons of people stranded in the flood, and a limited number of people responding to help.
I live around a lot of rednecks, and they're all going to be coming out with their boats and their beer, and they're going to come get me within, maybe less than 24 hours. I'll be on my roof for, maybe 24 hours.
Okay, well, the experts disagree with you on the Misery Index of being stranded in a flood. Let's move on.
Continue.
All right, so remember, it's your favorite neighbor dies,
okay,
stranded during a flood, your house burns down, in that order. The one that we have to rank in here, job transfer to Somalia.
Ooh.
Where do we put this?
Can't be as bad as being stranded in a flood.
I think it's far worse than being stranded in a flood. I think it's worse than your house burns down. I'm putting that at the highest of all of these. For me, personally, if I had to pick one it'd be mean to wish death on my favorite neighbor, but If it means I don't have to move to Somalia, so be it.
I mean, Somalia's pretty shitty, so... Is this like, I'm working and one day my boss comes to me and says, hey, guess what? Your job's in Somalia now.
Yes.
Fucking kick rocks. Okay, if it's... Well, okay, what if they said, hey, guess what, Ryan? Your job's in the UK now.
The card says Somalia and we're playing the game. You can't change the place?
Well, no, I'm trying to gauge here. Like, Is it just because it's Somalia that makes it so shitty, or is it...
Can I just jump in?
Is it the fact that... No, I'm not done yet. Go ahead. Jump in.
It's because it's Somalia. The end. I could live with being transferred somewhere in Europe. I could live with being transferred somewhere in Europe where English was not the written spoken language of choice.
Sure.
Do not send me to a country where there is no running water or electricity for me and just dirt everywhere. There's probably some very beautiful landscapes in Somalia. But when I think of a country like that, all I think of is long, flat plains of dirt.
Yeah.
Just as far as the eye can see.
And war.
And dying people. They're just dropping like flies in front of me.
So do we have to guess, like, where it is on the misery index?
You can guess what number you think it is.
90.
If I'm going to guess 90, I'm going to agree with you. It's 90 for me. I think in this game, it's probably more like 40. I bet you anything they've got it somewhere down at 40.
So that's what I was trying to figure out. Like, I was trying to figure out, not in terms of me. I mean, there's so many different variables to this question. It depends on the person. It depends on if it was a willful transfer. It just depends on a lot of things. For me personally, it's a 90.
You're putting a lot of thought into this ridiculous card game. Okay, for me personally, it's a 90.
Agreed.
The experts have ranked this at 70.
So not as bad as your house burning down.
But worse than being stranded in a flood and your favorite neighbor dying. I mean, I think it's worse than my house burning down. Even if my house burns down in this country and I lose everything, I can still build it back up faster here than I could in Somalia.
Agreed.
And just in case anybody from Somalia is listening to this podcast, love you! All right, let's do another round. Your best friend marries your ex, misery index 52. Chronic insomnia, misery index 52.5. Organ traffickers drug you and steal kidney.
That's got to be up there.
85.5.
Is that worse than your house burning down? That better be worse than your house burning down.
I would say that's worse than your house burnt. I mean, just ever so slightly worse, yes.
But I gotta say, if, like, my best friend dated one of my exes, I wouldn't care. Like, that wouldn't bother me in the least.
I don't think it would bother me either. But I've never been in that situation, so I don't know.
Neither have I. I've had a good friend date a girl that I liked and knew I liked her, and I wanted to kick him in the balls.
Yes, that's frustrating indeed.
Continue, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's okay. Do you feel like I was warm-hearted when I said, yes, indeed, that sucks? What did I say? That sounded so cold and distant.
It did. It sounded very disingenuous, Heather.
Well, it was. So to review, your best friend marries your ex.
Okay.
52. Chronic insomnia, 52.5. Yes, with the hand raise. Yes, what do you want?
I do have to point out
Uh-huh.
that our godmother is Dad's ex-wife. So for us, that's not that weird.
Except that her and Mom were not best friends. I don't think they even knew each other.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that...
For us, our parents, or at least our dad, gets along really well with his ex-wife. They're great friends. So it's not weird to us. I get what you're saying. But for some people, it's very weird.
And she obviously gets along with Mom, right?
Right.
Because Mom and her are friends as well.
Okay.
Anyway, I just made this weird. I apologize. Edit all of that out.
Oh, I will. All right. To review, your best friend marries your ex. 52. Chronic insomnia. 52.5. Organ traffickers drug you and steal kidney. 85.5. We have to fit in disastrous haircut.
a shitty haircut is not going to be anywhere near chronic insomnia.
Agreed.
I mean, best case scenario, you could shave your head off. Shave your hair, and it sucks for several months. How fast does your hair grow?
How much longer do you want to drag that S out? Oh my God.
Because I was trying to think about how fast my hair grows. My hair grows pretty fast. So if I got a shitty haircut, which I have, I just roll with it. Like, I'm like, whatever. Like, I went to the barber.
Yes.
And she cut my hair. I showed her a picture. I was like, this is what I want. She could do it. She was convinced she could do it. I was like, cool. So she cut my hair, and it looked nothing like the picture. I forget what I said, but it wasn't like anything mean-spirited. I was, fuck, well, what did I say? Oh, because I wanted, like, something done in the back.
Yeah.
And she didn't do it. She, like, cut it all off, so she couldn't actually do what I wanted in the back. It was going to be, like, a really big mohawk, basically, like, because I put it in a pompadour, and side was shaved. But anyways, all of the stuff in the back came off, and I said that I, wanted it there. Like, all that in the back. And she started crying.
Was she really young?
No, she's probably like my age, like close to. And she started crying.
You made your hairdresser cry after she gave you a bad haircut.
I didn't mean to, though. I was just, I was like, oh, like I made a comment about it because like that's not what I asked for. But she started crying, and I went outside. Like she told me like no charge. She wasn't even going to charge me for my haircut.
Aw.
And I was like, no, it's fine. I'll still pay for the haircut. It's not a big deal. Like my hair is going to grow out. I don't care. And like because I didn't care after I saw how big of a deal it was for her. It was a big deal for this woman, and I felt so bad. And then I realized, it's really not that big of a deal. Like, not worth crying over. I'm not crying over it. So anyway, I actually called Dad. I went outside and I called Dad, and I was like, what do I do? Like, I don't want to not pay her. Like, that's fucked up. She even asked me as like, do you want to talk to my manager? I was like, no, I do not want to talk to your manager. I don't.
What if she was conning you? What if she was so afraid to get in trouble she just like a crocodile teared it? Because men can be very sympathetic to a crying woman.
No, listen, if she was crocodile tearing it, dude, this woman deserves an Oscar. She is in the wrong freaking career. Believe you me, she was very upset. Like, as soon as I made the comment, she like her eyes welled up. Like, I recognized it because I have been there.
Okay.
I recognized it. And I felt so terrible because like I said, it's not a big deal. Like, my hair is going to grow out. Like, I don't care. Like, if I hated it that much, I would have just shaved it all off and started over. So I rate that really low.
Okay.
I want to put it at 15.
Okay. I mean, I'll put this at about 10. It is an 11.5.
Wow. So I win. By the Price is Right rules, I just won. No, I bust.
You lost.
I bust. Damn it.
Want to do one more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Here we go. Lose a fingernail. That's at 35.5. That's ranked rather high for that. I think it depends how you lose the fingernail, doesn't it?
It's never good how you lose the fingernail, I'll tell you that. You want to know something really cool, Heather? Random memory time?
Yes.
You know how I lost a toenail once?
How?
When you shoved the treehouse door open and knocked over the bench that I had in front of it, not allowing you inside, and it smashed my toe.
Well, what's interesting about that, even though I don't remember that incident at all, is that I did open a very heavy metal door onto my young child's toe, and that's how she lost her toenail as well. So apparently I have a track record with toenail losing. All right, well, Lose a fingernail, 35.5.
Okay.
Car fails inspection, 6.1. Misery index 100, you're buried alive.
That's 100?
Yes, I would say so.
I just dig myself out.
Well, this guy's in a coffin. Good luck with that, MacGyver.
I just have to make one comment. Listen.
Mm-hmm.
If I got buried alive in a coffin, you know what I would literally do?
Die?
Like, I've thought about this. Yes, I would die. And I have thought about this on so many, like, here's the thing. Unless anybody knows where I am, nobody's gonna find me. So what can I do? Like, I'm not gonna panic. That's dumb. You know what I'm gonna do, Heather?
Die.
I'm gonna go to sleep. And I will die in my sleep.
I like your solution to that problem. Very good one. Don't try to get saved. Have you ever seen... Never mind, I'm getting off the topic. Let's review quickly.
Okay.
Car fails inspection, 6.1. Lose a fingernail, 35.5. You're buried alive, 100. Oops, nude selfie emailed to entire office.
Oh my God.
That's right under you're buried alive.
That's an 80. That is easily an 80. That is up there.
I agree. I think that's between lose a fingernail.
I would never go to work ever again if I accidentally sent a nude selfie to everybody at work.
Would you ever take a nude selfie?
No, I would not.
Then you have nothing to worry about.
Right, but I'm just saying, I could put myself in that position. Because listen, this does not look great. It just does not.
Ya. Yeah.
I would be so terribly embarrassed.
I would too.
If my coworkers saw me naked, come on. That would suck.
At least they're mostly all the same gender as you. Like, I would feel different. If I worked with a bunch of women and that happened, I would feel a lot less embarrassed than if I worked with a bunch of men and they saw it. I'd be more embarrassed.
I think it would be so much worse if a bunch of men... Like, if I sent to all my coworkers and it was a bunch of men, like, I would never hear the end of it.
At any rate, this is ranked at 62, right between, well, not right between, but between losing a fingernail and being buried alive. I agree. That sounds traumatic. But, if you ever want to avoid sending nude selfies accidentally to the wrong people, you do have the option of not taking them in the first place.
Don't take nude selfies.
And that is the free advice we will leave you with this episode. Have a wonderful week.
We rolled right into that!
I know!
Heather, we rolled right into that! That was incredible!
You ruined it by pointing it out. Okay, it was a bad joke. Go on.
Wait, do they take offense to that?
I don't know, but they're known to be horrible with cooking.
Tell that to Gordon Ramsay.
No thanks.